you're hungry. I know you're upset. Hi, I'm Joe Ricchio, and welcome to Food Coma Live in the Kitchen. Today, I am making a soothing Indian Dal with split red lentils and spinach, coconut and tomato, because it's only 95 degrees outside, so why wouldn't you want to make a really warming stew and get your kitchen extra misty? That's kind of what we're trying to do here. We have our ghee going. I'm using Irish butter ghee, which is the best kind. I like to leave mine out at room temperature. A lot of people are freaked out by butter at room temperature, but I think ghee in particular does well in the summer. It gets a little liquidy, which is fine because that's what you're doing to it anyway when you're cooking it. All right, so we're gonna start with 2 onions, which I've chopped up. We're gonna put these in, lightly, gently simmer them in the ghee, which is just such an amazing nutty flavor. I love ghee. I could pretty much use it with everything. Whenever a recipe calls for a certain amount of ghee, double it up because it's not gonna make it any less delicious, I can tell you that. So we're gonna let those onions kind of delicately saute for a little bit until they're kind of translucent. This dish, is really versatile. There are lots of different kinds of dal. So anything you see happening today, you can feel free to make it your own. Don't let the pretty lavender color, or I'm sorry, actually the color is technically Provence. Don't let the Provence color fool you. This pot gets ripping hot. You'll notice the spoon I'm using today. This is black walnut, made by Hilltop Spoonworks in Poland. It's important to have people make the things you cook with. You're using it every day, right? You think about all the things you basically, consume. You spend a lot of money on, you consume them and they're gone. You might as well spend money on things that you're gonna use every day and they're gonna last you for a long time. So I can highly recommend that. We'll talk about my knife later. What we're making today is actually pretty much vegetarian. The only thing that's not is we're gonna put chicken stock in it, but if you omit the chicken stock and use water or veggie stock, you have a perfectly reasonable and delightful vegetarian feast. Welcome to my 70s kitchen, by the way. This is my home kitchen. This cabinetry is terrible. It only comes from one period of time. That's the only time you ever see this cabinetry from. I've gone and taken some doors off to create this sort of, custom look here. It's a custom job. And then I got my, my cookbooks, which I try to, only display the ones that give me credibility. I had to hide my Tyler Florence. I'm sorry. Couldn't do it, T-Flow. We're about to temper some spices. So going in now, we've got some black mustard seed, whole cumin seed, and whole cloves. So about 4 cloves. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you measurements on most things because I don't know them, but the recipes will be correct in that way. So we're going to put this whole spices in here, temper those, and turn down the heat a little bit. I'm going to add some minced ginger and garlic to the pots. Turn down the heats because burn the fucking garlic. Burn the garlic. You gotta start over. That's the rule. It's like burning the roux. You burn the roux. I know you're upset. I know you're hungry. But if you're that hungry, you shouldn't have made something that required any kind of delicate anything. And I like to keep this stirring. Like I said, you don't want to burn anything. Oh man, I could literally just wake up next to a pot of warm ghee every day and just not leave my room. Buy good ghee. Don't get the shitty ghee. It's not that shitty, but if you invest in the good Irish butter ghee, trust me, it's much better. You're gonna want to use it all the time. There's all these like ghee and coconut oil hybrid. I've never really seen the point in that. If you want coconut oil in the ghee, just put coconut oil in with the ghee. Why do you have those things together? It's like per plus. If you don't have time to shampoo and conditioner, then maybe you need a new job and change your lifestyle if you really need a product that badly that eliminates one of those elements for you, because that and per plus makes your hair completely unmanageable. Next we got going in some Kashmiri chili powder and some turmeric. I like cooking with turmeric because I get to play the fun game afterwards, after looking at my fingers being like, did I cook with turmeric or is that jaundice? I don't know. I just know it's yellow, but look at how pretty. We're also going to give it a pinch of salt at this point, so I only use a pinch, whatever. That's what I call a pinch. Throw some over your shoulder. People, when you go to their house to cook food, they love it when you throw salt and spices over your shoulder onto their floor. They think that's great. But I only use Maldon salt because still, like, I boil pasta water with Diamond Crystal kosher salt. But everything else I use Maldon for. I don't care if people think that's wasteful. I don't care if you call it a finishing salt. Same thing with olive oil. Like, I use the same olive oil for cooking as I would for garnishing, and I don't care. I guess I just don't garnish things that much. I'd rather have the salt in the food. And you know what? Maldon makes a huge difference. I don't care what people say. That is 6 times the amount of chili powder that most dal recipes would tell you to put in, but I don't care. We're putting coconut milk in later. Like, it's going to be fine. I don't see why this is a problem. So we're going to add the lentils to it. So these are the split red lentils going in now. And it's kind of like, you know, when you make rice. I like to give it a little toast, integrate it a little bit before putting the liquids in. For the base, we have both coconut milk. I make a stock, a chicken stock with saffron and black pepper, because I think that's what you should do. Saffron's one of those things that doesn't make anything worse, just like ghee. And the combination of ghee and saffron. You know, a lot of meals, like, you can pretty much, like, even Chinese food. Like, if you're making a stir fry, like, make your rice with some saffron in it. It just makes it, you know, make it with ghee. Make it with ghee so it's, like, rich and buttery and has some saffron aromatics. It's not going to hurt anything. People say saffron's really expensive, and technically it's the most expensive herb or spice in the world, I think. But you're not buying that much of it. It's not like you're buying like an ounce of caviar or like, you know, an ounce or a kilo of cocaine or something. Like, you're only buying it in like $10, $15 increments, so whatever. Just use your saffron. Don't be stingy with it. And now we're gonna put some chopped tomatoes right in there as well. They're backyard farms tomatoes. They're not like, you know, heirloom tomatoes. And then we're gonna go ahead and add some spinach. And as we know, spinach always crowds things until you work it in there, you know. Drop it down to a low simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then I'll show you the kind of the things at the end that really kind of wrap it up and, you know, make it delicious. Am I doing this better than Rachel Ray? I don't know. I'm trying. This is a 30-minute meal if you count active time. Dal is really inexpensive too. Like, all this stuff that I've put in, I mean, like, you buy once 80% of it and you have it for a long time. And then it's like, oh, I gotta go buy some tomatoes and some spinach and a can of coconut milk or whatever. It's not, or some onions. You don't have to have a lot of fresh things in your house to make this. You buy a big bag of dal and it will make you like 15, 20 pots of this. I don't recommend you wear an apron. I recommend you find a button-down shirt, preferably a lighter color when working with spices like saffron, turmeric, chili powder, you know, things that can splash around. That's really the best way to do it. Aprons, no. You know, you save those bespoke aprons for all the precious little gift shop restaurants. I'm gonna cook in my button down, god damn it. Nobody's gonna tell me what I can do because there's no grown-ups around to do so. It's always that moment, you're like, is it too much spinach? And then you're like, oh, 9 pounds of spinach just reduced to 1 tablespoon. That's right, I forgot. Because it's cast iron, 1 minute it's not as hot as you want, and the next minute it's ripping hot, and it's too hot. It's fine. We're gonna work it out. This is a hard dish to burn, I think. I hate leaving this thing for 30 minutes. I just want it in my life right now. So I'm gonna cover this, turn the heat way down, and we are gonna revisit that in 30 to 40 minutes. As you can tell, it's now dark out behind me, which means the dal is almost ready. Let's check it out here. Okay, Mr. Dal. Oh yeah, look at that. That is exactly what we're looking for. Everything is happy and integrated there, but we are not done. So now begins sinister phase 3, which starts with butter. This is just regular Irish butter, Kerrygold. I only use Irish butter. I don't know. That's just me. I know that there's good, Plugra. Everybody has their sort of, preference. As long as it's not like Land O'Lakes or shit like that, because that's just like eating plastic. But Irish butter, I'm using Kerrygold here. I used Irish ghee, Irish butter ghee in the dal. So we're gonna let a lot of butter hang out. Over here we've got some mint and cilantro mixed together. Chop up, give it a rough chop. I don't know if you notice this knife here. This is from Grimm Knife Company in Berwick, Maine. It's a custom job. I mean, look at this. I told them I wanted the theme to be the Sinaloa cartel. And this is what they came up with. I just said I want blue. You got a little Damascus steel here. It almost looks like a nautical map to me, which I enjoy. So yeah, rough chop on that. That goes in. Then we're going to add a little bit of lime juice. Probably the juice of 2 limes, essentially. Over the shoulder. Should we cut while my cat gets sick, or? No, that's my cat's enjoying a hairball. He's done now. You know, Tony likes to get on the action like everybody else. You done over there? All right. Okay, let's add the garlic to the pan. And then we're going to add this sizzling garlic and butter into the dal. It might splatter a little, but once you add the garlic, it's about that time. You can let it sit if you want for a little while. I mean, literally, like any stew, the longer you let it sit, the more the flavors are going to come together. The better it's going to be. Any chowder, anything like this, it's going to be even better the next day. But I'm hungry now, so I've got my ladle also from Hilltop Spoonworks in Poland, Maine. This is made out of cherry. Get us a bowl of dal right in the ramen bowl, because, you know, moment of truth. Yeah. That's delicious. It's just a great lingering heat from the cashmere chili, aromatics from the turmeric and the saffron, black mustard and the cumin, texture from the spinach and the tomato, and the dal, of course. But the dal is like a perfect texture right now. It's like just enough there you can definitely detect it, but it sort of just has a bit of a congee kind of porridge characteristic to it. Absolutely delicious and pretty goddamn easy. And like I said, you can make a big batch of this and eat it all week, because it's only going to get better for the next 3 days. I'm Joe Ricchio, and this is Food Coma Live in the Kitchen. If you like recipes like this and you want more video footage, you know, twice a month, support the podcast by becoming one of our patrons, and you won't be sorry. I mean, I personally guarantee it's all going to be delicious. And then you get the cookbook at the very end. So if you forget, it won't matter. You don't have to go diving back through old videos. You know, the handsome cookbook that's worthy of a coffee table or a random cookbook shelf full of random cookbooks.